If I were to get pulled over for speeding, in order to fight my ticket, I would have to go to either a district or a municipal court. Which one? Well, that depends on whether I got the ticket within city limits, which would be municipal court, or outside city limits in the county, which would be district court. These courts are called limited jurisdiction because they are limited in their ability to hear only lower level offenses.
The district and municipal courts throughout the state are an extremely high volume court. We handle way more cases than all other court levels combined. The cases aren't very complex, but they're extremely high volume. We deal with large court calendars. This morning on the public defense calendar, there were over 70 cases on there just for a morning.
About 60 to 70% of the total number of criminal charges filed are going to be with a court of limited jurisdiction, which is a good thing in many ways because it means they're not all being filed as felonies.
District and municipal courts basically hear the same types of cases, which are either simple infractions, like the speeding ticket I might be getting here in a second, or worse, misdemeanors, like driving without a license, or worse yet, gross misdemeanors, like reckless driving or a DUI.
District court is a court of limited jurisdiction. It hears all manner of criminal cases that are misdemeanors and gross misdemeanors. We hear civil cases of $100,000 or less. We hear pretty much all traffic infractions. Anytime anyone ever gets a speeding ticket, they'll go to either a district or municipal court.
We hear everything from parking tickets, infractions, all the way through DUIs and domestic violence charges.
The highest percentage of our caseload is criminal cases, the misdemeanors and gross misdemeanors, the DUIs, misdemeanor assault, shoplifts, driving with license suspension things. By far and away, those are the things we hear the most.
Not all the cases are exactly the same. Municipal courts do have exclusive jurisdiction over their own city laws and ordinances.
We sit on a violation of business codes that happen, fire codes. We also have sole exclusive jurisdiction over the cases that land in the city. But the civil are exclusively infraction driven. And I'm making that clarification because we don't sit on small claims cases.
All small claims cases are heard in district court. If you feel you've been aggrieved to the tune of $10,000 or less, you can bring what's known as a small claims action.
District courts have exclusive jurisdiction over civil cases where an individual sues another for up to $100,000.
Civil cases are just that in the sense that they're civil disputes. As an example, I use the examples of personal injury. Someone gets in a car accident and no crime has been committed, but someone rear-ends somebody else and someone is injured, then the injured person can sue the person who they believed caused the accident.
Judges at the municipal and district level have more sentencing discretion to focus on rehabilitation, unlike the Superior Court level, where judges must follow the mandatory minimum penalties laid out by the Sentencing Reform Act. This discretion allows for a more therapeutic approach in sentencing.
By the Supreme Court's own decision, they have defined courts of limited jurisdiction as courts of rehabilitation. And I have been doing this for 16 years, and people have asked, why haven't you wanted to go someplace else? And it is frankly the distinction between what happens at the municipal court level versus Superior Court was why I stayed. We have the greatest amount of discretion when it comes to sentencing. That's why I'm imposing those conditions, is because they make sense here today. We have the ability in our Community Justice Service Department to have them undergo evaluations, which reveals needs, so it's a risk needs responsivity approach, and it allows us the opportunity for intervention. You're required to go up to our Community Justice Service Department, and then they come back for what we call resentencing on enhanced probation. Where they have determined, that there may be a number of behavior modification classes that might help, or maybe substance use disorder evaluation and treatment, or maybe mental health, or maybe a combination of all of those. And we discuss what the options are and the realities for them to undertake that care. And at the end of 24 months, this will come back out for dismissal. It's not all stacked on top of each other. There's no expectation that it all happens at once. But at least we have some insight as to, further sentencing, as opposed to just saying, oh, let's just credit for time served and close, when they may be struggling mightily with, addiction to fentanyl or something of that variety, which we find with unfortunate high regularity.
District and municipal courts cases are generally defined as quality of life cases, which are activities that impact the safety of an individual and the community. Therefore, the sentences that are imposed often take into account strategies of how to improve the safety of those involved, intervening when necessary to hopefully avoid recidivism and to protect the community.
So we have the greatest opportunity to intervene and apply resources and to apply what we hope are, I would hate to use the word fixes because that seems to as though we are a cure, which we're not, but the most opportunity to give somebody to try to improve their lives.